not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And this one here, we're going to have a little bit of fun. Roosh V versus Mr. Tommy Sotomayor. Now, for those who don't know who Roosh V is, he is somebody, supposedly he's an advocate for rape, or rape on private property. You know, I'm like, his statements, his literature, you know, and so forth, his videos have created some sort of a firestorm, and he has a movement going on. And here, I'm going to roll a clip and, you know, and let Roosh V speak for himself.
All right, so the world has gone insane in the past week. Why? Number one, I had organized meetups around the world for men to enjoy a social happy hour, just to meet in private, to talk about anything, work, politics, girls, just to meet. Okay. Number two, a year ago, I wrote an article, How to Stop Rape. This article, to a 10-year-old, was obvious that I didn't intend to legalize rape or cause harm against women. But starting on Sunday, a lot of you have lied by saying I am a pro-rape advocate. He wants women to get hurt. And then the third thing, you said the meetups are about rapists. They want to gather to learn how to rape. They're going to exchange tips. Some of you have called it a rape rally. A rape, what the hell is that? A rape rally. So because of that, I've been all over the world in terms of the news. Over 100 articles have been written. The result is what? I'm currently the most hated man in the world. Governments from all over the world have talked about me. Australia has tried to keep me out. They called up their Navy to keep me out because they thought I was going to get in through a private yacht. So the Navy got called up. In England, the House of Commons debated me for half an hour to say how I'm a bad man who shouldn't be allowed entry. Mayors from everywhere, Canada, have said we're going to keep them out, like they could anyway. They're just a mayor. A mayor can't keep someone out. Texas, the governor there said the same thing. Police from everywhere said that all meetups will be monitored. A private meetup for men is going to be monitored. 1984 is here. Worst of all, my family's address was put on the internet through the hacking group Anonymous, and your colleagues at the Daily Mail confirmed the docs and say that I eat my mom's meatloaf every day. Dozens of threats have come in. Someone said they're going to burn my house down but save my mom. So I'm glad. But you have to understand that your work and the work of your own colleagues have incited a mob based on lies that has put my family in danger. If they get hurt right now, God forbid, it's because of you. It's because you didn't read a damn article, you misinterpreted, and now we have this rage mob to where, as you can see, I had to hide this. I told you, don't tell anyone. I must state right now that not a single woman has been hurt by me. I've never been accused of rape, never been charged. No follower of mine has read something of me and then gone on to rape, because I know if they did hurt a woman, it would be all over the news. Not a single woman has been hurt. Yet there is a real rape mob somewhere. And
now, in that clip I just showed you there, notice how Roosh V is using the same talking points as a Mr. Tommy Sotomayor, as if when dealing with his critics and his distractors. You know, I'm like, he states that, you know, I'm like, the people who read his books or whatever, or watch his videos, or comes to his seminar, you know what I mean, they have not, his literature or whatever has not caused anybody to rape anybody. He talks about how, you know what I'm saying, his address has been put out there, that he's received threats for the things that he state, and that he himself has never been convicted or accused of rape. So that's the thing. But you know, where are people getting these ideas from? Why are people deeming Roosh V as some sort of a pro-rapist type individual? Now, I saw, you know, a couple of his videos, and I say that this guy has a lot of disparaging remarks about women. I'm like, and this, like the same things Tommy Sotomayor says about black women, Roosh V states about all women, especially women in first world nations.
Believe it or not, American women are not perfect. They have a lot of flaws. And what I did was compile a list of their flaws that should make you maybe reconsider dating them. So let's get started. Number 1, they're fat. Fat girls are simply unattractive, so why should you waste time dating a fat chick? Number 2, they're constantly glued to their smartphone. These girls are addicted to an electronic device and are less capable of human interaction. Number 3, they cut their hair short. They are so lazy to maintain long hair that they make themselves ugly on purpose. Number 4, they're more impressed with a crappy DJ or an Instagram celebrity than a doctor who saves lives. Number 5, they think being overly sarcastic is a quality that men love. Wrong. Being sarcastic is rude and doesn't show that you have a good sense of humor. Number 6, they listen to stupid websites when it comes to learning how to please men. Number 7, they don't know how to cook. Their idea of cooking is using the microwave or preparing macaroni and cheese, and some women don't even know how to do that. Number 8, they wear flip-flops when they're not in the beach, not at the pool, or not in their house. Flip-flops are the laziest footwear that you can put on, and it screams to the world that you simply don't care. Number 9, they have condoms in their dresser because they are fully prepared to sleep with random men. A man only wants a girl to be slut for himself, not the entire town. Number 10.
Roosh V has stated that there's, now this is coming out of Roosh V's own mouth, because I'm not, you know, I understand there's people that's trying to misquote him and so forth, and he claims that everybody got his message completely misconstrued. But he states that out of his own mouth that women can't do nothing for men. Only thing women can do is look pretty, and that women is only good for menial jobs such as pushing papers. He also has stated that when a female gets raped, she needs to bear some of the responsibilities. Like, you know what I mean, oh, if you got raped, then, you know what I mean, what did you do? You know what I'm saying? How did you provoke it? What was the scenario? You know what I mean? Could there be something that you could have prevented from you getting raped? You know, and that's the thing. Now, when it comes to Mr. Tommy Sotomayor, when it comes to black females being victims of anything, where even if a black female is killed, he finds some way to blame the black woman. She, you know, he'll say that, well, you was messing around with a thug and you was doing this. You know, I mean, you got 4 kids by 4 baby fathers. So, you know, maybe there's a reason why you was raped, why you was beaten, why a black woman was killed. He'll never just say, oh wow, you know what I mean, this dude was completely in the wrong. We know with Tommy Sotomayor, the woman who got killed because she tried to put this guy on child support. And also Tommy Sotomayor did a video about a YouTuber, a popular YouTuber that made clothes and who was killed by her, you know, obsessive ex-boyfriend. And Tommy Sotomayor said, well, she had 3 kids, and you know what I mean, the dude she was dating was most likely a thug, and these females don't get involved with thugs, and this is the outcome. So Tommy Sotomayor is somebody that feels that, you know what I'm saying, black women, if they're victims of something, you know, maybe it's partly to blame. You know what I mean, that their action could have led up to this. You know, and that's the thing. But with Roosh V, he's like, he looks at all women, in the same way Tommy Sotomayor looks at black women. So it's funny that, when I go to Roosh V's videos, I look at, these females have a lot of vitriol for this guy. I don't think Roosh V has any female followers. If he does, I'll be surprised. The difference, Tommy Sotomayor actually has females follow him. Of course, white females, because he loves to put down black women and big up white women. On video. I understand that, people say controversial stuff to get views, to get money, to get support. I understand in the realm of social media, there's a big market for people to be politically incorrect. To say that, I'm just keeping it true. I'm saying stuff that other people are scared of saying, and then they get a whole lot of backlash. But that's the thing. So if you want to say some, outlandish stuff, incendiary remarks, and the whole purpose of you doing that just to grab people's ear, even if you offend them, then therefore the blowback is coming your way. And so then they'll play victim, like, oh, all these people are against me. They're dropping my documents. They're giving out the addresses to where I live at, to where my mom lives at, and so forth, where my aunt lives at. But it's all part of their game, to gain sympathy and to gain more support. Like, hey, I'm going out on a limb for you guys, and look what's happening to me. So I need more of your financial support. And that's how it is. And that's how these controversial dudes, that's how they market themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they go by a strategy book. Now, the difference here is that I feel that Roosh V's threats are real. Tommy Sotomayor, he's about drama, and so forth. Like that video where where conspiracy dude scared the hell out of Tommy, and Tommy did a video wearing a fucking bulletproof vest and showing off a gun like a goddamn retard. There was no call for that, but that's to create drama, to play the victim, like, oh, I'm just making videos. I don't know what these guys are so mad about. It's just my opinion. But the thing is, it goes beyond you making videos. It's about what you say. You know what I'm saying? People have to, be accountable for what they say and then back it up and defend your position. As if with Tommy, he kind of says, you're mad at me, but you're not mad at the drug dealers. Well, the drug dealers get shot and go to jail all the time. I'm like, you got, 1-800 Crime Stoppers or whatever. People snitch on drug dealers and try to shut them down. The black community is filled with snitches, but you won't know about that. Why? Because they want to remain anonymous. So it's interesting because I actually wanted to do a video on Roosh V, just breaking him down, but I had to gather up more information because Roosh V actually produces books, and I actually want to read. When I mean by books, pamphlets that's no bigger than the instruction manual that comes with a video game. So I actually wanted to gather up more information from him to do a fair and adequate assessment. So therefore, but me watching this guy, and he was just so similar to Mr. Madness Sotomayor, I said, well, let me just do a comparison here. Because it's funny that Tommy says that, he gets all this criticism from black people, and he says black people are violent, they're savages, this white supremacy ain't doing this to me, white people, there's black people doing this to me. But Tommy targets black people. When it comes to white supremacy, Tommy is condescending. As if with Roosh, Roosh can't play the race card. He can't say, oh man, these white people are savages, these white people are trying to shut me down, all for my opinion. Because it's mainly white people that know about him. His support base are white, and a lot of his distractors are white. And Roosh V, I'm like, this is a dude that supposedly he's banned in Canada. Now he can't go to Canada. See, that's the thing. Roosh V is actually he's not that popular on YouTube. He's more popular in because he's beyond YouTube. Tommy Sotomayor is somebody that is somewhat stuck on YouTube. You know what I mean? I'm like, he makes his living off YouTube money. You know, I'm like, he hasn't really expanded or beyond that. That's why he was cringing at the thought of him losing his channel. You know, another similarity between Roosh V and Tommy Sotomayor is that they try to mask their views with really kind of simplistic ideas and mask it with intellectualism. That if you come across as somebody that's smart, that you feel like you can get away with your dangerous rhetoric and so forth. You know, and that when people, you know what I'm saying, try to criticize you and say, hey, you said this over here, or you're about this, they say, oh, well, you know, you don't understand it, you're not smart enough, you don't get it, and so forth. So therefore, Roosh V and Tommy are known to dance around their own words. They say stuff to get views, and then when they get backlash and people say, hey, you said this, and then they're like, oh, no, I didn't say that. You're not that smart, you know what I mean? You misinterpreted it or whatever. I don't believe you, you don't get it. These people over here get it, but you don't get it. You know, they'll also resort to petty, childish name calling. But when other people do it, they say, oh, you can't debate and so forth. You have to resort just to meaningless banter. Like, for instance, I was watching one of Roosh V's videos, you know, and he was talking about one of his detractors or whatever. And he said about her, he says, well, she's fat and ugly. I'm like, she looked like she fell off the ugly tree and they hit every branch on the way down. You know, I'm like, how childish is that? You know, and so forth. But also, they both like to mix a little bit of humor, you know what I mean, with their outlandish statements. You know what I'm saying? I guess to soften the blow, you know what I mean, to be about shits and giggles. Now, this whole concept, and also they both want to appeal to the Republican Party and the conservatives. I'm like, Roosh V has a shirt. In one of his videos, he's wearing a Donald Trump shirt on. You know, Tommy Sotomayor did a support video for Donald Trump. And one thing about the Republicans is that, you know what I mean, they're known to have this mentality of blaming the victims, unless the victims is white and the perpetrator is a person of color and a black person. Now, when we go into Roosh V doesn't think too highly of black people. You know, I'm like, he has a video talking about called The Truth of Multiculturalism. He says that ethnic minorities pretty much make neighborhoods unlivable. You know, and he's talking about, you know, blacks, you know, foreigners coming in and so forth. He also has a video where he's doing he did a tour of the Midwest. And we're talking about Roosh V here. And when he was in North Dakota or South Dakota or one of the Dakotas, he said that it was very nice. But he says that he saw nothing but white people there. And he coincides how nice this town is with the fact that it was just overly, that it was a dominant white town, or, you know, white state. So we coincide niceness with whiteness. He also went on his tour of Midwest video. He went to the University of Nebraska, and he states that if you see a black person here, that most likely they're an athlete. You know, so this guy doesn't pull any punches. You know, he wants to appeal to the conservative crowd. He doesn't care about anybody else. And also, you would say that, well, is Roosh V a white guy? I'm like, technically he's a Caucasian. He's actually Arabic, you know what I'm saying? He's Middle Eastern in origin. He was born here in America, but, you know, his family comes from Iran. You know, that's the thing. So he doesn't, I haven't seen any videos where he talks about, you know, his Mid-Eastern culture, but, you know, but it's funny that he makes a video saying that foreigners or whatever are just destroying America when his family, you know what I mean, are foreigners. Even though he may have been born here in America, but, you know, his family comes from the Mid-East or so forth. So in a lot of ways, you can call him a coon on that aspect. You know, and so forth. But that's all I want to say for this. Also, you know, Roosh V has written some books, and that's funny about Tommy Sotomayor is that why hasn't he written books, you know, as of late? And Tommy Sotomayor has not written any books at all. Now you may say, well, I haven't wrote any books. Actually, I have. I wrote a science fiction novel, but you know what I'm saying? When I look at these guys that want to create these movements or whatever, you know, whether it be, you know, Roosh V or, you know what I'm saying, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Umar Johnson, all these public figures, most of them, Tariq Nasheed has written some sort of book. You know, Tommy has not written a book. Either I would say this guy is too lazy or he's not smart enough and so forth. But I guess that once you put your ideas on paper, it's kind of cemented, and you gotta, you know what I mean, you gotta hold true to it, because on now it's written down, either if you're just saying something orally on video, you know, and so forth. But that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching, and never stop learning.